This just in. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news here on the campus of Princeton University. Spotted is Maria Ressa, class of 1986 and renowned journalist, here to appear on Between Two Tigers.
So Maria, what's it like to be back on Princeton's campus?
I love it. I mean, it's gorgeous. It always hits me every time I come back, and walking around, it makes me feel like I wish I could go back to when I was still on campus. Having said that, it makes you feel like no matter how much things change, some things just stay the same, and Princeton is that backbone.
What was it like for you to be on the cover of Time as one of the 2018 Persons of the Year?
Shocking. You know, Time didn't tell me that they were going to do this, and I found out on Twitter. So when I saw the first tweet go out, I actually thought it wasn't real. It could be positive or negative in the Philippines, and it moved us to another stage. In the end, it's extremely positive because it acted as a shield. So what happened when I saw the cover? I was like, oh, yuck. You always, I hate seeing myself, even though I did television for however many years. And then I saw the art of the photographer and how he captured. It was a surprise. It's a very welcome surprise now. It is a shield of safety.
Maria, when we walked up to this spot this morning between two tigers, we passed the informal motto of Princeton University, in the nation's service and the service of humanity. Can you talk a little bit about what service means to you, dating back to your time at Princeton, and how you embody that now?
I think it goes back to the whys, right? Why do you do what you do? And in the end, one of the things that you learn at Princeton is not just to stay on the surface for the whats, but to dive into the mission. Why do you do what you do? Which I think has been the lifelong question that I've always struggled with. You shouldn't be doing something if you don't really understand why you do it. So that motto, in a strange way, stayed with me, because when you answer why, all of the other small questions it's like dominoes. When you know the why, everything becomes easier.
Besides Princeton, what is your favorite thing to ever come out of the state of New Jersey?
I'm from New Jersey. I mean, I grew up in Tom's River.
Maria, on your social media handle, on Twitter, you describe yourself as an idealist, a cynic, a pragmatist, and a journalist. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Wow, thank you for asking. I mean, I think the idealist is because you work for the best that you can, the way you can see the world, right? You work for a vision of the world. You want to stay idealistic. But yet, if you've been a journalist as long as I have, there's a part of you that's cynical, because everyone lies. I mean, you just get used to the ugliness of human nature, but you maintain that there's this goodness that is always there. And I've seen that in every disaster area, people are, I believe, inherently good. Pragmatist is that in between, because you're constantly having to make choices, and these choices, especially in news, is minute by minute, right? So all of those three things go into what being a good journalist means for me. It's kind of like the Serenity Prayer, Ronald Niebuhr's Serenity Prayer. You have to figure out what things you can change, what things you can never change, and accept it, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Very good. It's almost like an equation.
It really
I know that
is.
neither of us studied math in college, but it's a 1 + 1 + 1 = journalist in a way. One more question. Orange and black is featured prominently throughout your academic and professional arc. Why is that?
You pointed out orange and black, right? I don't know. I mean, I'll talk about Rappler. When we first were looking at the colors, news at that point in time was really blue because it's cold and authoritative, right? But in the age of social media, you don't want to be cold and authoritative. And in a country like the Philippines, where the median age is 23 years old, we wanted something to welcome the youth, right? And orange, if you look at what it stands for, what it means, it's actually youth and vibrancy. So we took orange, and then maybe it was the subliminal thing of Princeton. I mean, black just seemed to be the right color to go with it, and I'll say Princeton has had a huge impact on the way I think and what I do when I'm confused. I think this idea that you can untangle every problem, you just have to pull on the right string, and you have to have the will to keep pulling, even if it's uncomfortable, right? Even if it challenges fundamental beliefs, and then deal with what you find, right? That kind of exploration, the clarity of thought to do that. That's something Princeton taught me, and that's a foundation through my life.
Thank you so much.